Hello, good evening, everyone, and you're welcome to Joel Political Blog. And this broadcast is broadcasting on YouTube live as well as Facebook. And like we bring you every evening, every Saturday evening, we bring up discussions as it pertains to politics in Nigeria with special interest on Nigeria's involvement in the politics. And today we have two wonderful guests. One of our guests is someone you saw last week. So we have a new guest on our podcast today. And so I'll just quickly introduce the guest and we'll just get right into the business of the day. But before I do that, let me share this link to other platforms so other people can be part of. They can see what we're doing and they can be part of it. And if you have any question, just like we did last week, please, if you have any question, please, you can just drop your questions and our guests will answer your questions as they come in, please. Let me just share before we um, let me quickly share so that we can have people that can be part of the program. And the reason for this is so they can ask their questions. So as so many people can ask their questions, they can ask um, uh, if they have any questions, they can talk to us, and then it will be part of the discussions that we're having. I think Reverend Zacchaeus is experiencing some connection problem there, but I'm sure we can have that resolved shortly. Okay, so you're all welcome to Joel Political Blog, and we have two very interesting questions to talk about today. But before then, let me introduce my guest. The first guest we have today is Archbishop Michael Enegbeta Peters. Is the Kogi State Coordinator for Christians in Politics. And then we have our second guest, Reverend Zacchaeus Jonathan. He's a preacher, he's a politician, and also an entrepreneur. I think the Archbishop is seem to be having connection problem. Can you hear me, sir, Reverend Zacchaeus?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so before we have the Archbishop back, I think we'll just okay. The Archbishop is back. Mm, All right, so I'll just ask you the first question we have. You see, in the build up to the 2023 general election, presidential elections, Nigerians just woke up to the fact that the presidential candidate at the time, who is now the president, came up with something that we have never seen before in Nigeria. He came up with the Muslim ticket, which a lot of people frowned against, but typical of Nigeria, it went with it, and then exactly what we have today. The president is a Muslim, the vice president is also a Muslim. So the question I want to ask is that will set the ball rolling for our discussion tonight. Do you think the APC's 2023 presidential ticket, do you think it's a calculated political strategy or a deliberate act of Christian marginalization in Nigeria? Considering that you are a politician, you've contested the election to the National Assembly and all of that. So to you, as a politician now and as a clergy, do you think that move was a political strategy or just a deliberate act to malign Christians or to marginalize Christians in Nigeria? What do you think?
Thank you very much for that beautiful question. And it's a very beautiful question that you have just asked. Good evening from my point here, and good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are watching from and listening from. Thank you very much. Like I have been rightly introduced, my name is Zacchaeus Jonathan, a preacher. That question is very, very deep and germane. And if you look at it, I will tell you that it was a serious political strategy.
Okay.
A very serious political strategy in the sense that you see, in the north, if you are a Muslim, they do not regard a Southern Muslim as a solid, sound Muslim that can lead prayer. And
Okay.
so calculating and knowing fully well that calculating and knowing fully well that he as a Southerner is a Muslim coming, he will not get the support of the North. So he decided to fly a kite for them and for them to buy into, which they bought. And they bought it, whole line and sinker, and they went for him. But today, they are regretting it because it was not a divine arrangement. Let me be mild with my language because I'm on
Okay.
air. It was a strategy. That strategy is not of God. That strategy is a device, is a system, is a calculated attempt to do something that they will be able to catch the people in their force. And they did, and they got away with it. But now the people are seeing that it's not the right thing and it's not paying them, and they are looking for a way out of it. But I pray that God will give them the way to get out of it, because they planted a seed, and the seed has germinated, and the seed is bearing fruit, and the fruit is bitter, and they cannot eat the fruit anymore. So they are looking for how to cut down the tree and make sure that the fruit does not yield anymore. So it was
Okay.
a strategy.
Okay. So why do you think the APC adopted this strategy? Now, the reason I'm asking is, first, Nigerian constitution says Nigeria is a secular state. And Nigeria is made up of both Christians, Muslim, and traditionalists. And it has always been, the norm that whoever emerges as a candidate, if a Christian candidate emerges for a political party, he will choose a Muslim, as a deputy. It has always been like that. So why do you think? And for me, I don't think there was any threat. What I view, considering the kind of um, politics that is practiced in Nigeria. So why do you think the APC adopted this strategy of Muslim ticket? Now I'm asking this because over time we've heard a lot of people in the church, a lot of people, Christians, have said, look, there is a deliberate attempt to Islamize Nigeria. There's a deliberate attempt to malign the Christians in Nigeria. There's a deliberate attempt to ostracize the Christians in Nigeria. There's a deliberate attempt to ensure that the Christians do not, will not attain, a certain level of political prominence in Nigeria, and that this is just a testing ground. Now, some of these people draw their inference from Kaduna State, where El Rufai, and we all know Kaduna State is the headquarter of northern Nigeria politically. And some people have said, oh, they have experimented this thing in Kaduna and it seemed to be working. So that means they are trying to bring this thing at the national level, and then they are testing the ground, and now that it's after all the everybody has shouted, they are going on with what they are doing, and now it is full-fledged that these things might just continue. So why do you think, as against all of this, what they call conspiracy theories that have emerged as a result of all of this, why do you think the APC have to adopt this form of strategy, given the political divide of Nigeria along Christian and Christian and Muslim line?
Thank you very much. You see, in all human endeavor, when you are doing anything, you try as much as possible to look for how well you can put your strategies together to be able to come out top in whatever you are doing. And any man going into any business will sit down, even like the Bible will tell you that no man wants to build a house that will not sit down to count the costs. So in the process of counting the costs, you will do your proper planning and strategy and see which one will best suit you and be profitable to you. You see, politics, as we all know, that it is a game of number. And then that is when you want to do it decently, it's a game of number. And so they have come to realize that from political strategy and political calculation, they have come to realize that from all skewed population census, I call it skewed because we've been doing things, we've not been doing it rightly and correctly. From all the skewed political census that they have been doing, they have always allotted to a particular region high population, allotted to a particular city high population, as the case may be. For instance, now anybody calculating to win election massively in the north, you will calculate it to hijack Kano, to get Kano. You want to calculate, you want to get in the south, you calculate how to hijack River State and Lagos State. So all these calculations are all there. So when the strategist sat down to plan APC, I was not there and I'm not part of APC, but from my own assumption now, from the strategy, they now realize that, okay, what can we do to make sure? And studying Nigerians, we know we are very passive people. We are not proactive in whatever we are doing. We are especially we are very nonchalant, like the Christians. I would say the Christians are nonchalant, and they have studied the Christians from time, from the First Republic. When you look at the First Republic and down to this thing, where how many Christians? When you look at Awolowo, you look at Zeke, and you look at Okpara. These are all the Christians that have contested the election, that have been prominent even from the independence days and this. Then when you look at in the north, how many Christians from the north had ever come out to apart from the J.S. Tucker from Benue State? You understand? So when you look at it, and that is middle belt. So when you look at the calculation, they have seen the political trend, how the train has been moving, and they discover that, okay, the the population sense, calculation is that there is that imaginary assumption that the Muslims are, in population, are more than the Christian, which is a false, which is a lie. If you take the census, even in Maduguri, you take the census in Sokoto, we have Christians there, we have Christians in Maduguri. If you take the census in the Middle Belt, you know what it means. Even in Kogi, you know what it means. Like in Kogi now, they will tell you that the Muslims are more than the Christian, which is a lie. So now, having done that, and based on the assumption, and knowing fully well that the Christians will never come out, they are not politically active, and they will not even come out to fight. I was talking with a Christian shortly this evening. He was driving. I was just sitting by his side, and we were talking. He said, "Which Christian will want to go and die? And which Christian will want to, if they come, they bring their talk. So which Christian will want to go and die? So the people, if you don't want to die, then you cannot rule anybody. But we are not saying that there is going to be death there. But if anybody can take the bull by the horn and say, okay, I'm going to stake my life, then you should expect that you should get result. So, and that has always been the case. So the political strategy that they adopted in APC when they realized the complacent nature of Nigerians. And when they calculated and see that the complacent nature of Nigeria, that it was done in Kaduna. In Kaduna, the southern Kaduna people that are predominantly Christians, they have been under oppression. And because they have been under oppression and they have been marginalized, so their voices, so, and you know that it is not that we are even really doing the election to count the vote and say, okay, this, but it is done with thuggery and then forgery and then intimidation and the rest of them. So the people that are able to intimidate and forge documents and everything, Christian, you have already said go into politics is dirty. So when you say it's dirty, if you want to go to heaven, so since you want to go to heaven, you will not go and forge, you will not go and intimidate, you will not go and kill. So you stay back at home, and the people that can do these things, they will go ahead. So until the Christians decide that, look, I'll take my life in my hand. Esther said, if I die, I die. Esther died? She didn't die. So she took the bull by the horn. Mordecai stood at the gate and he told Esther, Esther, if you fail to take decision and to act now, Don't think that because you are in the palace of the king, when the chiefs are down, you'll be safe. So if you stay there and you are quiet, he said you will be the first one they will use for pepper soup. So Esther now said, okay, go and call 3 days fast for me, and I will do it. And did they die? They didn't die. Instead, they were the one now that now started intimidating the people. So we have the weapon in our hand, but we are not utilizing it because of we are cowardice inside. And the one that is more than the conqueror lives inside of us, but we have decided to kill him inside of us. And so that is why the strategy they are displaying in APC is raining for them.
Hmm. You've mentioned very, very important issues while trying to talk about Christian participation in politics. And one of this issue you said, over time, if you look at the historical, trajectory of Christian participation, like one of the reasons why Christians have not been included in the scheme of things when it comes to massive votes is because over time they've decided to be docile. They've decided, they've taken issues pertaining to politics with a pinch of salt.
Complacent.
Yes. And then you talked about game of numbers. In the Bible, Jesus said, while giving a parable, so while men slept, the devil came and sowed tares. I'm sure you remember that part of the scripture very well. So
Correct, correct, correct.
if you juxtapose that now to Nigeria as a country, and then we try to say using the game of numbers, would you say that the church in Nigeria is sleeping?
If you say the church in Nigeria is sleeping, it's an understatement.
Hmm.
We are not only sleeping, we are slumbering.
Wow.
You have to sleep in the physical. You have to sleep, close your eyes before you begin to slumber.
Hmm.
The church in Nigeria has entered the stage of slumbering. Why did I say so? Jesus said, while men slept. You see, when was talking, Jesus was not just talking that only in the night when you go to sleep on your bed, that is when you sleep. You see, as I'm talking to you now, between me and you, we are talking now, people are listening to us.
Yes.
The people that are listening to us now, the people that are listening to us now, the moment they take their concentration away from us to listen to what we are saying and take action, or to concentrate and hear and then be able to ask questions, the moment they take that concentration away, they have slumbered, they have slept. If you are in the house as a father and your child is doing something careless that can hurt the child, and you did not warn the child immediately to stop the child from harming itself, that will cause you serious pain, you are sleeping. So when the child now hurt itself, and then you begin to run up and down, if you can rescue the child, fine. If you cannot rescue the child, you lose the child. Why? Because you are sleeping, your eyes were open and you are looking at the child while the child was trying to hurt itself or herself, but you did not take action on it. So now the church is going to church. We are doing IVG every Sunday. We are going to church. Remember,
Oh,
he said
okay.
faith without work is dead. So now, if we are now praying and we are now fasting, and then we begin to run up and down,
Well, we seem to be having
send you
network
an
challenge.
answer.
Okay.
And that answer, are you hearing me?
Yeah, loud and clear, sir.
Okay. So now when the church is sleeping, because when the church now go into the church and pray, and by the time they finish prayer, they come out into the marketplace. And in the marketplace where they are supposed to implement the answers that they are supposed to have gotten from God, because when you say you are praying and you pray genuinely, definitely God will answer. And when you pray correctly and rightly, God will answer. So when God now give you an answer in the church, it is not in the church that you are going to implement it. You go into the marketplace to implement. And if you do go into the marketplace and you are intimidated, remember, he said he has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of boldness and of a sound mind. So if you go to the marketplace and you are now intimidated and you are now afraid, then you cannot be bold and you cannot have a sound mind to implement the answers that the Father has given. So, and that is in the area where the church is sleeping, in the area of implementation and manifestation.
Okay, given what we have now, do you think this Muslim ticket has come to stay, or you foresee a change in 2027?
You know why I'm laughing? They are between the how do you normally say that proverb? The blue red sea, the
Yeah,
deep sea and the blue red sea. I don't know how
yes,
do you normally say it.
between the devil and the deep
That
blue
is
sea.
where they are now. Yes, that is where they are now. If you decide to drop the vice president as a Muslim, you are in deep shit. To go and take a Christian, you are in trouble. If you decide to go with the Muslim ticket without rigging and whatever, without intimidation and everything, you are in trouble. So now the situation is precarious for them. So they know that they made a mistake by that Muslim ticket, and because the Muslim did not calculate it this way. They didn't think it's going to go this way, and the way it has gone now, it has shown them that God is not involved in this matter. So,
Okay.
because God is not involved in this matter, and that is why they are the one crying the more now, and the Christians are just looking. Even though the Christian they are feeling the pain. Okay, I can give you an example. In my own community, the two local government that produces the House of Rev, two local government produces House of Rev. I think I've mentioned it once before,
Yes,
but I will
yes.
repeat it again. The local government chairman is a Muslim. The local government secretary is a Muslim. Of the two, that is four candidates now, Muslim, no Christian. Now, in one of the local government, they have house 1 and 2. So the two of them are Muslim. The other local government, they have only one house member and it's a Muslim. So that is 7. Then the House of Rep member is a Muslim. That is 8. So now, the Christian now, they are not even talking. The leaders now, even when you mention it to them, they are not even talking. They didn't even know that what is done, what has hit them is wrong. But even the government now realize this thing now. They are looking for this thing. Even in their appointment, most of the appointment I'm seeing they are doing now, there is still all Muslim. But the Christians are still sleeping and still slumbering, and they have not woken up. So you now begin to ask questions. Do these people really understand what is going on to represent Jesus here? And you say you are the salt of the earth, you are the light of the world. Where is the light? And look, let me give you an example. There's an university in my area, in the state capital. Students have been dying and dying and dying, and as a result of accident. They have not taken action. Just 3 days ago, a lecturer, a very beautiful lecturer, was crushed by a trailer.
Wow, that's pathetic.
All over the social media. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. Pathetic. So you leave your child to go to school, to the university, only to come and hear that the child is dead. And it's been going on and on and on and on and on. And we say we have a leader, we have leaders, we have people representing us, and they are not concerned about what is happening. All of them now are concerned about, they are just having this thing, whatever they are doing now, just for 2027.
Absolutely.
And the Christians,
yes,
are not doing anything.
yes. I've always said it that
They're not doing anything.
The Nigerian state, that the democracy we have, it is not, according to Professor Claude Eke, who is a renowned political economist. He has said that the kind of democracy we have in Nigeria is not emancipatory. It's just, a contextual democracy is what we have in Nigeria, where it has all the facets of democracy, like periodic elections and the rest of them. So it is more like a civilian rule, because human rights are not respected in the scheme of things, especially when it comes to elections. People do not, the politicians or those in the ruling class, they do not even consider the fact that the people are very, very important in the scheme of things. So they just, because otherwise, this issue of governors decamping to a new party and all of that, it should not even make so much news as much as the fact that we have people, the people will be the decider of who becomes governor, local government chairman, the president, and the rest of them like that. So what they just do in Nigeria, they just do things at that level of the political class, and then they give little or no reference to the people because the people hold most of the power, but of course they don't care. And the reason for this is because, like you mentioned, the elections will definitely be rigged. The elections will go to the highest bidder. And I've always, somebody has told me one time, please describe in one word, describe democracy in Nigeria. And what I said was, Nigeria operates what I call a commercial democracy. That was why I was very, very skeptical. I expressed sort of some level of pessimism when Buhari signed the not too young to run bill. And I said, these people, they're just, playing to the gallery. You have not solved the issue of vote buying. You've not stopped the issue, or you've not managed the issue of commercializing the entire electoral process. You are saying somebody at 35 years can contest for election. How many 35 years old in Nigeria? Sometimes when there's even ASU strike, you're even doing, you've not even gotten job. And when you even sell forms for 45 million, 10 million, how many youths in their 30s and even in their 40s can just rake up this amount of money, go and buy an expression of interest form when they are not even sure they will be emerged as flag bearers at the primaries, and especially when we have indirect primary system where delegates are the ones who who elect people who are going to be flag bearers. And when you have that kind of number, bribery will so there's so much problem. And I just hope and I pray that the Nigerian church will wake up to its responsibility to ensure that some of these things, and to stamp their feet, to ensure that some of these things that are happening, that have become a norm in Nigeria, will cease, as especially as we go into a new election cycle come 2027. And you, of course, sir, as a politician, that a year before the main election is where the electioneering starts. So we are seeing now that very soon, by next year, we're about to round off 2025. Electioneering will start. And look at what even happened in your state, in Kogi, where we saw somebody who is alleged to have misappropriated Kogi fund standing on the platform to canvass for votes for Tinubu is mind-boggling, and is really, 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 really worrisome. I think our Archbishop is having problem joining. Typical Nigerian problem. So the next question I want to ask you, sir. The next question I want to ask you, sir. Do you think, in your view, do you think the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, do you think CAN should endorse or actively campaign against political candidates and parties, or do you think they should endorse a party or openly, uh, campaign against a particular candidate? Do you think that should happen with the Christian Association of Nigeria?
Yeah, you see, spiritually, if you ask me, politically, if you ask me, okay, which way now? Which one should come first? Or which? You see, that question you are asking now, in the church believe that the church should not be political. The church should be apolitical, and that is to
Yes.
say, you should not openly campaign for a candidate. But in the first place, the church is a brewing place, a breeding place, an incubating place. The church is a place of training. The church is a place of cleansing. The church is a place of sanctifying. So if the church is a place of getting the rotten egg, the rotten potatoes, and then bring them into a place, into the basket, and wash them and make them suitable for use, then, and we are talking about politics. Politics is bringing out leaders that will be able to serve the people and make the plan of God, the purpose of God, irrespective of your belief. The essence of you being a leader is to be a reality in the life of the people. So now, if the church and an organization of the church, they can, you are now saying you are training people, you are cleansing people, you are making people to think right, not to think wrongly, and then you are not involved in the ejecting the right thinking people that you have trained, that you can vouch for. You are not involved in putting them forth to go and lead the people. Then what are you doing? This question is left for the church to answer, because I've heard very serious preachers, very senior preachers, very anointed preachers saying that you as a pastor, you should not openly campaign for a candidate so that you will not lose your member, you will be listening. The point is that the Holy Spirit was is given to us to guide us, to lead us, to comfort us, and to direct us. Now, when they were going to select two people to replace Judas, when they were going to select somebody that is going to replace Judas after Judas' demise, the Holy Ghost now said, selected Stephen. Even when Stephen was going, it was to just to serve the table, or just to serve the table, serve food. When there was confusion in the church and they needed somebody to listen, they say people that are filled with the Holy Ghost. And Stephen was chosen as among the people that was to serve table, not to preach the gospel, to serve table. Somebody that was filled, that was sanctified, that has been selected by the Holy Spirit. That this one is somebody that is a vessel that I can use. This selected Stephen. Now you are now going to select somebody that is going to lead a whole population of 200 million people, or you are going to select somebody that is going to govern a population of about 5 million to 10 million people. Church should not be involved. That on its own. Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
Yeah. So, and you said the church should not be involved in doing that. I mean, to me, my personal opinion, I do not believe in that. The church should be involved, and even when the church is going to be involved, if somebody says, look, okay, now let me digress. Let me pause here. I hope I will be able to bring my thoughts again. Let me pause here. When you look, we have 36 governors. All the southern governors, are they not Christians?
Yes.
They are Christians. But all of them put together, are they representing the church and representing God, or representing Jesus the way they should represent Jesus? If they are representing, will they be decamping the way they are decamping now? So now you realize that the CAN has a lot of job to do. They have a lot of job to do. So that before you pull somebody forward in the church, from the church, to say, go and represent us, is somebody that will not bring disgrace back to the church. Is somebody that when he gets there, they will say, oh, look at when this guy was there, these are what are the things that happen to the nation, to the state, to the local government, to the company he was leading. The church is not involved in discipling the people that lead them. I will not make this. You were all aware of what happened in CBN. And up to today, they are still recovering trillions and trillions of dollars and billions of dollars. So all this is a disgrace to the church. And then if the body that is to oversee the church is not doing the real work, then there's a problem. There's a serious problem. So before anybody will say, church, come and support me, the church should be able to vouch for them. I've been contesting elections since 2007. 2007, I've been asking the church for support. I'm not asking for money. Let the church just come out and vote. That's all I've been asking for. And I'm still going to ask for them now. I'm still going to talk to them to come out this time around and vote. I will not stop until they realize that, look, this is our own that we need to put forward. I've contested election severally. I don't have one single talk. As a preacher, I cannot go and preach and say it is good, it is bad for you to smoke hemp, to take cocaine, and then I will come and give that same cocaine to somebody to go and be a talk for me. It is wrong. it is wrong. You must preach whatever you must do whatever you are preaching.
Okay. So before I ask the
So
next
the church
question,
needs to get involved.
yeah, please, we encourage our viewers, if you have any question that you would like to ask, or you have any input you want to make, you have any contribution you want to make, you can just go on the comment section, just drop your thoughts, your question, or what you think about what we're talking about. And, it might not necessarily be, within the topic. If it's something that you think you have interest in and
Mm-hmm.
you would like us to talk about, please, you can just drop your comments, and then we'll definitely discuss that. And whatever observations you want to make, please just make. And in the meantime, you can also please share this video. You can share the link so other people can be part of what we're doing. Other people can join and then make their own input. Other people can, join the discussion. I'm sure one or two persons might have questions that they would like clarification on, especially it has to do with Nigeria and the church, and the leadership recruitment process in Nigeria. So back to you, Reverend. Just this question I just want to ask. So with what we are seeing now, with all of the signs and everything we are seeing, it appears the church is not even interested, because we've seen that when this issue when Ted Cruz brought up this issue that, oh, Christians are being unalived, genocide is going on, there's persecution of Christian, I've not really seen a strong official information or strong official condemnation or strong official message or what have you
Condemnation.
from Christian Association of Nigeria and the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. And the PFN just even held its 40th anniversary service or what have you, conference, what have you, few days ago at the Redemption Camp and the rest of them. And I was hoping I would hear something related to that. Why do you think the church has become so complacent, especially when it comes to issue of Nigeria? And I'm saying this because, first, when this administration came on board during the campaign and the rest of them, some people were dressed up as bishops and they came and they endorsed the Muslim ticket. But we cannot see that one happening, the fake imams and the rest. So why do you think the church has gotten to so deplorable level that the complacency is now is thinking to high heavens? Why? What has brought the church to this level?
Thank you very much. You remember the days of Elijah
Mhm.
in the book of First Kings chapter 17, when the prophet of Baal were all over the place, and only one man, and I think God is merciful. We still have one or two men that are crying, that are shouting. At least I can talk of somebody like Prophet Elvoba is shouting and is putting his life on the line for deliverance of Nigeria. At least I attended one of his meetings recently. He came to Kogi.
Mhm.
Tomorrow, Nigeria prays. General Gawan is praying for Nigeria, is leading some clergy, Reverend Aresiola. They have been on praying for Nigeria. But I want to say something. If Elijah could stand and then against over 400 prophets of Baal in the time of old, the same God then is the same God yesterday and is the same God tomorrow and is the same God today. Now, you just ask question that when they dressed some people in the robe of bishops and the clergy to come and appear as if they are endorsing, the church is endorsing the evil that they were perpetrating, and nothing happened, that cannot be done with the other religion, with the Islamic religion. Of course, they will go to war, and those people will not come out alive from that arena where they went to present themselves to represent the group that they are endorsing, whatever the Islam people did not endorse. They won't. But you see, we have a greater power than that, than being physical. But if me and you today we are talking and the power is not evident, the power is not being manifested, something is wrong with us in the church. Then we need to look inward. What are we doing wrong that is making this? Because you see, you remember the one chapter prophet in First King chapter 13, that the king was coming, and the king now say, "Who is this prophet?" He stretched his hand to say, "Arrest him." And the prophet say, "Let that hand wither." And the hand stood still, immediately wither. The king now begged the prophet, "Please restore my hand. Now I know you are a man of God." And the prophet did it, and then lost his own life because of disobedience. So what am I trying to bring out? If the power is in the church, you now go to represent this. There is fire of the Holy Ghost that can consume on the spot. But we are not seeing it happen now because we are not really carrying that fire. Because what we are doing in the church is we are not living the Bible. This platform is not. I've seen a man of God, a Nigerian, but he's not operating in Nigeria today. If he's in Nigeria today, they will have been castigating him. He's an occultic person. Is that this? Is that? That at least I watch his ministration. There's no cancer that I entered that is his presence that goes back this thing unattended to. That person will be cleansed of cancer. 2 people had died instantly in the church. They came for the first time, and he raised them back to life. That is the raw power that we need this time around, this end time in the church, to be able to dismiss, because Satan is the ruler of this world, and Satan is in charge of politics. Satan is in charge of politics. So if you want to go into politics, then you must go with the power of God in a unique dimension, as of the time of old, when Elijah confronted the prophet of Baal, and then he was able to deal with them. So now to the question, like I said, the question you asked about what is it that the people were masquerading as Christians and nothing was done. Nothing was done because the church itself does not even know who are their true members. The church does not even know who are the true members, because the church is just a marketplace. People just come because you want members. You want your church to be the largest. Then the people are just coming. "Oh, I'm a member of this church." They'll call one name of the church. Oh, okay. How are you? Okay. Where do you fellowship? They'll call one big church. You will never hear, "I'm a member of James Apostolic Church down the corner." No, nothing like that. So everybody want to belong to the big church, and in the big church, you are not a worker, you are not discipled. Nobody knows. You leave the church, you go and smoke, you go and drink, and then you go and fornicate. But you now come back and say you are a member of this church. So, and then that same person that is claiming to be a member of this church will now go into politics. What do you expect from him? Then you cannot give him money to come and represent and come and say, "Okay, I am a member of this, I'm a Christian, I'm a member of this church." He does not have the fear of God in the first place. So he will go. He does not even know that God can kill. God does not kill. But going against the things of God, you automatically attract death to yourself, because the principle has been set in place. So when you go contrary to it, you attract that punishment for yourself immediately.
Thank you so much.
So that is the issue.
Okay, that's the issue.
The Archbishop is around. Let's give Archbishop.
Thank you. The Archbishop, can you hear me, sir? I think it's still this problem of the connection. So you talked about
frozen. Yes.
Yeah, you talked about the Nigerian praise that they will be. Where is that? Where's the prayer holding the Nigerian praise? You said I think it's an organization managed by
the prayer is holding
by
in
Yakubu Gowon.
Yeah, God has really raised that man. General Yakubu Gowon is almost 91 now, and he's still moving. So the prayer is holding in Kogi State, in Lokoja, the state capital. Tomorrow is a rally. It's a prayer rally. and then the committee has been praying for the first 2 3 weeks now, 2 weeks or so. They've been praying, and the final day is tomorrow, 26th. And so we're expecting General Yakubu Gawan, Reverend Ariasola, and some other national members. So it's a rotational thing. I think they rotate it year by year from the geopolitical zone. And it is the North Central that is hosting it now. And now it's Lokoja that is holding it in North Central. And it's coming up tomorrow in Lokoja, Kogi State by 3 p.m.
We just hope they'll use that platform to, charge the
Can you hear me,
church.
sir?
Yes, I can hear you. I say I hope they will use that occasion because I'm familiar with the Nigerian praise. I've met some of the executives of the Nigerian praise over the years, and one time they did the rally, something like that in Borno State, Meduguri, and I was in Meduguri at the time. I've had the opportunity of interacting with some top members of the Nigerian praise, and so I sincerely hope that this at this point they will use the opportunity to use this rally to charge the Nigerian church to wake up to its responsibility. That the church is not just a place where people go to pray, seek the face of God. That the church should also play active role in leadership recruitment in Nigeria because whether we like it or not, Nigeria is deteriorating and is deteriorating at a geometric rate. Because at the point where we are now, before we had this meeting, I was on phone with somebody from the north, and we talked about some things. And then when you hear these things, to be honest, they are really mind blowing because Nigeria is deteriorating and deteriorating very, 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 very fast. I just hope that the Nigerian church will wake up to its responsibility to be actively involved in leadership recruitment in Nigeria. So we don't have to start raising prayer points about praying for Nigeria. It should not just be about praying for Nigeria. It should be about waking up to be part of what happens in Nigeria, to be part of leadership recruitment process in Nigeria, where we have leaders that we can vouch for, leaders that will project the image of Nigeria in the way it should be done. Not every day we start looking for measures to salvage what is left of the deteriorating state of Nigeria. So we just have a few minutes before we round up for the day. But I just want to have just one last question. I've asked this question to so many people, and they've tried to answer the best way that they can. Now, I'm asking this question, given the realities of what we are seeing in Nigeria today. I'm going to ask this question because of the first question I asked about what is happening in Nigeria, the Muslim ticket thing, and some said it's a political strategy. Some said it's a deliberate attempt to put things the way they are, and it's a deliberate attempt for a future you know plan and what have you. So I just want to ask her, do you think Nigeria is on its path of being Islamized?
Uh, the thing is that the question you're asking is a serious question. For instance, if I come into your house, if I assuming I visit you and I'm in your house
So
and I
sorry,
enter your
sir.
sitting room
The reason
and
I
I
have this
look at your
question.
set.
So sorry, sir. You see, we have Sharia law in operation in some parts of Nigeria, and just a few days ago, a video went viral about a man, an Igbo man in some part of Abuja, I think, who said he had a financial or business dispute with another person, a Muslim, and the person took the matter to the Sharia court, and Sharia court gave its ruling that that man's shop and goods inside should be sold, to pay up the loan. And based on the Nigerian constitution, in fact, even the Nigerian Bar Association had to wade into the matter to say that one of the party to this matter is not a Muslim. So why would they use Sharia law to decide what happens in that dispute? And a lot of people, because I tried to read some aggregated, views of the people, and some said, "Oh, this is a stand," and this is part of some of the one message I listened to from one pastor Dotun, who did an extensive research about the Nigerian constitution, the Nigerian electoral process, and he said Nigeria is on the path, is on the way of being Islamized. Do you agree with this assertion, sir?
Well, there is that rumor that Nigeria is on the verge of being Islamized or this thing. But you see, every man, every power, that is Romans chapter 13, verse 1 and 2. He said, every power is subject to a higher power. And so Nigeria was created by God, and there's a purpose and plan of the plan that God has for Nigeria. If Islamizing Nigeria will be the one that will fulfill the plan and purpose of God, they will succeed. If Islamizing the country cannot, in fact, will not even come near fulfilling the plan and purpose of God, in fact, they will not. They can only try, but they cannot even get near it. So that is one. But you see, there will be so many things that will be happening because they cannot achieve it. So many Christians, so many people will be dying and be going for it because nothing is being done to implement the plan and purpose of God. So many Christians will be dying because
Oh, we've lost that. I think we've almost come to an end of this discussion. And if you have grabbed one or two things, or you've heard one or two things that are inconsistent with what you think should have been said, you can always drop a comment. I'll definitely reply to that comment. And even though we're done, you can still share, you can still like, you can still share, you can still leave your comments. I'll definitely reply to those comments. I'll definitely like, and the more you share or like this video, it helps the video to, you know, to the algorithm will help to spread this video so other people can see what we are doing. So I think we have the Reverend back. So Reverend, we only have few minutes left. If you can just please just round up your thoughts, sir.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. So the thought that we will Nigeria cannot be Islamized. They can only be trying because they believe everybody want to make sure that he satisfy his own spiritual conscience. Plan of heaven and earth.
Okay, you're muted, sir. We can hear you.
Nigeria, they
Okay, I
will
can hear
only
you
try.
now, sir.
But unfortunately, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, sir.
So, but the reason when good people
Connection problem again. I think on this note, we will want to wrap up this discussion. For as many who tuned in and were part of the live process, I really do want to thank you. And for as many that would like, share, and comment and subscribe, please, I want to say thank you in advance. And please get other people to subscribe to this channel. So when we have this regular talks, you'll be the first to be updated. And please leave your comments, like this video. Please, I beg you, like, share, and comment. And I want to sincerely thank you for subscribing to Joy Political Blog. And I'll see you next weekend, next Saturday, same time at 9 p.m., with even more interesting and okay. Okay, next week we'll bring you even more interesting and enlightening topics for discussion. Thank you so much, the Archbishop. I think we've really had connection problem. I'm so glad to have you back. We only have just
Yeah,
we're just about to round up. We've had a robust discussion with Reverend Zacchaeus, and so sorry. I guess the Nigerian factor network problem. So sorry, Archbishop.
it was network problem. I wish I'm online to be able to partake
I think
in it, but the net
what I
was
would
very,
do
very
is,
bad.
yeah, by next week, I think if we're going to have this, we'll just find a way to, so we don't longer use this software. I think this software contributes. You need a higher level of bandwidth for network to be able to log in. So maybe I'll find an alternative means. Maybe I'll find an alternative means. So next week we don't have this problem of internet network
Challenges.
and the rest of them. Yes, sir. Sir, I can't hear you, sir. Reverend, I can't hear you, sir. Oh, so I want to really thank you, sir. I think we're done for the day. And if it's possible, I'll get with the Reverend to book another session with you so we can have these discussions and then we have the same topic. So thank you so much, sir, for taking out the time to even attempt to join us. We'll get in touch with you again next weekend with even maybe with same topic or maybe something more enlightening and something more worthy of
Different topic.
discussion next week. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, and have a pleasant night, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night, sir.